Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this special occasion. Tonight, we're celebrating the tenure of Dr. Patrick R. Walden, speech and language pathologist and professor at St. John's University. I am honored to speak about him. Patrick has been my best friend for 20 years now. When I first met Patrick, I was 22 years old. I was waiting tables at the local Pizza Hut back home. And my coworker Wendy came up to me one day and said, "Chris, there's this guy who acts just like you. You're so much alike. I would love for you to meet him." So I said, "Okay." One day, Patrick came to the Pizza Hut. I met him, shook his hand, introduced myself. He introduced himself, and when he went away, I said, "That's the little guy you wanted me to meet?" He's like, "How old is he?" She's like, "He's 15." And I was like, "15? I'm 22. I'm sophisticated. I've traveled the world. I'm in college. Me and my friends all drive cars." Well, I didn't think much of Patrick after that, but the next summer I waited tables again at Pizza Hut. And one day in walks this 6'2", blue-eyed, dark-haired creature, just amazing to look at. And I said, "Wendy, who is that?" And she said, "Chris, that's Patrick. Remember you met him last summer." I couldn't believe it. What I didn't know is that Patrick would become my best friend. He used to talk to me all the time, and sometimes he would say, "Chris, I don't know what I'm going to do. Until I met you, I had no idea there was actually a world out there." Well, I told him, the first thing we need to do then is get you a scholarship to Europe, just like me. So we did, and he did win that scholarship. He won a scholarship to Berlin, Germany. He studied there for a year. While he was there, his senior year of high school, he was valedictorian of his high school back in home. He came back, began classes at Florida State University, where he worked constantly and still walked out with a high GPA. He also spent a summer in Costa Rica, so Patrick is not only trilingual or bilingual, he's now trilingual. After that, he went to Las Cruces, New Mexico, studied at New Mexico State University, where he got his master's degree. He then left Las Cruces, moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he worked at a large nursing home and in a school. He left Albuquerque and then moved to Dallas, where he worked once again in a large nursing home, but also worked in people's homes who had brain injuries. Once he worked there, he moved on down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where he was doing work in people's homes, but also working at Florida Atlantic University on his doctorate. Once he got his doctorate, he moved on to New York City. He worked in the Bronx, which was a little frightening to him. He worked in Harlem. Then he began working at Staten Island at St. John's University. It sounds like that was all so easy, but it wasn't. Patrick worked hard. He had about 20 jobs. I remember one time he got the shingles. I remember one time he wrecked his car. I remember one time in Dallas when he was going to lunch, he was walking into the lobby and saw that one of his patients was in a wheelchair by a wading pool. And he thought to himself, are they looking at the water or are they attempting to do something? Well, right when he thought that, the person in the wheelchair tipped over into a pool. It was December, it was freezing, and people just stood around watching, and Patrick had to jump into the wading pool and pull out this man and his wheelchair. So Patrick hasn't had it easy. I remember one time when he was young, he asked me, "Chris, am I ever going to do something? Am I going to be here forever?" Well, Patrick has shown us that he didn't have to stay in that small town and live there forever. He's done so much. He's traveled everywhere. He's a doctor now. I remember the little boy who said he lived in a lime green, pink trim trailer. He would sometimes go to school bare feet. Not anymore. Patrick, you've surpassed all of our expectations. We knew you were smart. We knew you were capable. But what you've done is unbelievable. I'm proud of you. Congratulations on your tenure at St. John's University. You're absolutely amazing. And I love you. You're my best friend. And I'm proud. Thank you.
Mute speed tab. Finish but tab. Cancel but tab. Stop cast.